We're back on the air. This is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name again is Jeffrey Davis of Mage. And we have another guest. And I just remind everybody we are being hosted all this month at the Social Scene. And visit socialscene.me to see how they are bringing people together one event at a time, changing your social life in a way that you could not imagine. And if you go up soon, or if not already, it's also in the App Store. And so for both your Android phone and your Apple phone, ready to go for you. Our next guest is Jake Auchincloss, I hope I did that right, Alderman for the City of Newton and also MIT Entrepreneurship Chair, correct?
Correct. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for hosting me. I'm the City Councilor at Large from Ward 2 in Newton, Massachusetts, and I'm also the former director of the MIT 100K Entrepreneurship Competition.
Well, where do you want to start? The MIT Entrepreneurship Competition? MIT, great school, great, turned out thousands of entrepreneurs.
It was a privilege to lead that competition. It's the oldest startup competition in the country now in its 27th year, and it is one of the few organizations at MIT that really has reach across all 5 of their schools, the schools of science, engineering, management, architecture, and humanities. And we really bring together the best and the brightest from undergraduate all the way through postdoc as they look to commercialize their ideas.
Interesting. Can you give us a little more detail on that?
Sure. So there's
some of the companies maybe who've been through it that we might know of?
Yeah, probably the most widely known alum company from the MIT 100K is Akamai, which is now based in Cambridge. It's got a market capitalization in the tens of billions. And they came in second place in the 90s in our competition.
Second place.
Yeah.
They're the Avis. We try harder.
That's right. Well, I was speaking to the gentleman who came in first in that year, and he told me that he would gladly trade his $100,000 check for their market cap. So,
but is he still in business too?
That gentleman is Mike Cassidy, and he has sold 4 companies and is now the VP of Loon for Google. So he's doing quite well for himself as well.
And that's nothing to complain about.
Nothing to complain about. That's really a measure of the caliber of people that come through the MIT Entrepreneurship Competition. The competition is tiered into 3 different mutually productive contests throughout the year. There is pitch in the fall, winter, accelerate in the winter, and then launch in the spring. And they get progressively more intensive and progressively higher stakes. Pitch is really just 90 seconds with your idea for low money. Accelerate is you prototype the idea in the winter time, and then launch is for $100,000 non-equity grant. And there it's a full business plan in front of a large panel of prestigious judges.
Wow. And can you give us a sense of the organizational structure around the entrepreneurship program at MIT, how it works?
Sure. So MIT is generally a pretty balkanized institution, meaning that all the different labs and all the different centers tend to focus on their own research. And so the Martin Trust Center for MIT Entrepreneurship at MIT serves as a nexus of all those different vectors of research so that we can get some of the cross-disciplinary teams that tend to be more successful. And the entrepreneurship competition, we host events that catalyze team formation for our fall, winter, and spring competitions so that we can get the architect together with the management student or the engineer together with the scientist, and they can come up with new commercializable ideas.
Wow, interesting. And tell us, how did you get into politics in Newton?
So I grew up in Newton. I went to the schools there from Temple Emmanuel Preschool all the way through Newton North, and decided after being away in college in the Marine Corps that I wanted to continue public service at the local level. I had served 2 tours as a Marine officer, and I had worked on the staff of Governor Baker's election campaign. And I wanted public service to continue to be an aspect of my life, and I felt that local service was the most meaningful way to do that. Governor Baker, during his campaign, used to always say that the highest impact officials in the Commonwealth were those who were making sure the roads were paved and making sure the schools were high functioning at the local level.
You know, I would agree with him. I think the thing that I've noticed the most, I grew up in Canada, in Montreal, and I think the thing that's impressed me the most about American politics is grassroots politics.
Absolutely.
That's where things actually really do happen.
It's really the wonderful thing about local politics is that it's non-ideological.
Really?
There's disagreements.
There's got to be some ideology.
Not anywhere to the extent that it happens at the national level, because
That's
it's
true.
face to face, and ultimately there's only so many different ways you can look at a pothole, or so many different ways you can look at student test scores. Everyone has got the same mission, and neighbors tend to want to disagree with much more civility than regions of the country do, and it's really it's where government is most efficient and working best, and I would like to see actually more government functions be delegated down to the local level.